Good morning. I'm starting a concrete countertop project. I didn't find a lot of video on available for a homeowner that's doing it himself, so I'm going to start one myself. This is the first day, and as you can see, the countertops the base cabinets are laid out. I will have a bar across this area with a corner sink or corner countertop ending here with the dishwasher here, a corner sink here, a stove here. These are RTA ready to assemble cabinets that are complete, the wall units and the base cabinets. I've just started cutting the concrete board to fit the counter, and I will continue with the video as I continue with the project. I'm continuing with the concrete countertops, and as you can see, I have the half-inch Durabond Durarock concrete board on top. I'm putting the forms, which come from Z Solutions Concrete. That's the only forms that I could find. You basically put these, attach them to the top of the counters, and then you just snap them off after you pour your concrete. This will be a poured in place. This is just a small cabinet here that the stove will go in this area right here. They show you to screw the forms down to the top of the cabinets, but I chose to take a small nailer, and I ran a bead of silicone caulk around, and then I took the short brad nailer and just nailed it down, because maybe someone who purchases this house years down the road, if I ever decide to sell it, would like to do granite or whatever, and they can easily pull the countertops up rather than having to, and once you pour the concrete, you couldn't get to the screws. So as I go along, I will have more information for you. Continuing with the video of the concrete countertops, I have the forms on the cabinets. As you can see, they're plastic forms that go around. They're from Z Countertop Concrete Solutions. The best system that I found when I was researching it on the internet and so forth. But as you see, this side here is flat, because this will be where the stove slides in, and also here this is flat also, because that's where the stove slides in. Got the back edging around the wall. This is the form for the sink. Be a 25 by 22 inch sink. The trim around the front. Countertop cut out here for the dishwasher, and a nice bar down here. The next step will be putting the wire mesh in, cutting the wire mesh and getting ready for the pour, and I will be back when we get ready to do that. Moving along with the pour in place concrete countertops, as you can see, the forms are pretty much done, and I started laying in the wire for strength. And as you can see, I put half-inch, just regular half-inch machine bolts to hold the wire up off the bottom, so you won't have to try to be pulling it up in the concrete as you pour. So this seems, I think it'll work out good. Staggered them on down through here about every 4 spaces. So tomorrow I'm going to pour, and I have all my wire. I think I have all the hose caulked that the concrete can go down through. So we'll see how it turns out. Good morning. I'm continuing with the video for the pour in place concrete. I'm ready to pour. I'm going to pour first thing in the morning. I have plastic all around the cabinetry and on the floor to protect the cabinets and the floor. I've got all my mesh in. The forms are all in, and I think we're ready. As you can see, where I made my coupling, I took some duck strap and just screwed up from the bottom up through, and of course that'll be in the concrete, and that will actually help strengthen the concrete. This is a piece of fiber trim polyboard that I'll use for a straight edge to make sure the concrete gets level. I think it's going to be a success. I'll actually mix the concrete out here. Got a mixer, so I'll mix the concrete here and just walk on into put it in a 5-gallon bucket and pour it in the forms. And I'm using Soycrete 5,000 plus, which is what they recommend for countertops. Supposedly you don't really have to use the mesh with the high strength 5,000 plus, but I went ahead and put the wire mesh in there. I'll continue tomorrow when I start to pour. Today I'm starting to pour the concrete. As you can see, I've already got this one poured. Coming on around, I've got the area around the sink. I'm down to right here, so you get my wire mesh. The bolts, the nuts there help you hold up nicely, so it's up in the middle of the concrete. So far everything's going pretty good. Have to work it a little quicker than what I expected. I think the cement board is probably sucking some of the moisture out, so probably a good idea to mist it down, if you decide to do this. Okay, well, the concrete is all poured, and I've done some troweling so far. It's pretty smooth. It looks pretty good. I'm still going to do some hard troweling as it sets up a little more, but it really turned out nice. I'm really pleased with it. You can kind of see there in the window light the shadows that it's got a nice hard trowel. I'm anxious to pull the forms off the front and see how it really looks. So I'll get back with you when we get ready to do that. Okay, the concrete's poured and the forms have been taken off, and we're really pleased with the way it turned out. A couple of issues that I had that they tell you to make sure that you vibrate your edges really well, and I did that with a vibrating sander along the edges, but I still have some holes there. But the wife says that's beautiful. We're going to leave it just like that. I'm not going to fill that in. They actually show you can take some grout and fill those in, but it really looks good. I kind of like it. Maybe I didn't pour it wet enough, but I was concerned with pouring it too wet and it being a bad mix, so I poured it pretty stiff. But very pleased with the way it turned out, and I'm okay with those holes. I think it really looks good. Just drop the sink in here just for aesthetics to kind of let you see how it's going to look once it's finished. Of course, as I said before, the dishwasher will go here, the stove will go here. This one was probably the worst for the little hose, but again, I mean, once you stain it, this is really going to look good. I like it. Totally pleased with the way this turned out. And once we get it stained and the coat of clear on it, I'll have more video available. Continuing with the countertops that we poured in place, we're now starting to stain. It's starting to look pretty good. We've just put this coat on and we're working on dead weight down the counter. It really changes color with the different, how porous the concrete is. And we basically just took a rag and dipped it in the Soycrete, which is a eco-friendly. It doesn't have any acids, or it's not an acid stain. You don't have to wash it after you put it on. Just dip the rag in there, get a little bit on it, and just rub it on. And once you do this, you don't have to clean up. It's done. It's just a nice stain, and it really looks good. And we're really pleased with what we see so far. So we'll continue, and we'll get the whole thing stained, and then we'll seal it tomorrow. We're continuing with the staining process of the countertops, and as you can see here, we've already went with the first. Actually, this is the same color that we used to coat last night, but each time you put it on, it gets a little darker. And we're putting it on with a ocean sponge. And my wife is in the process of doing that now, and it's really starting to take shape. And after we do this, we'll go back over it with one shade darker even. And you can see what it's starting to look like. Just lightly dabbing it on. You don't want to puddle it. You don't want to leave any puddles. You want to leave it pretty much wiped dry as you finish. It's looking good. We finished the staining of the concrete, and we really like what we see. The next step is to put the high gloss sealer on it. I mean, it almost looks like granite. Really looks good. This is the bar area. Of course, we got some on the wall, but we plan on putting some, a backsplash around. But very pleased with the way this turned out. And the next step is to apply the sealer, and we'll video more when we finish that. Well, this is the final video of the pour-in-place concrete countertops. They're finished. The final stain, the final sealer has been put on. The appliances are in place. I think it's beautiful. Turned out really nice. You can see some of the stain on the wall just above the concrete. We're going to put a backsplash around there, so we didn't tape that off or anything.